Greetings, fellow travelers. It is the Doom Poll Skizzo Stream, and today, first of all, let's get some music going and some mild ambient sounds from the Ghost Show. Yes, and let us fix the minutiae up. Yeah. And I am between having a simple stream about regular stuff, about the certain game, like for example, a very decent game that I mentioned and I played earlier, Death Must Die. In its Christmas iterations, its Christmas update, or to talk about various issues anyway, to talk about certain stuff I had posted a year ago, almost a year ago. So let's first open the game to get in the mood and and to be sure, hang on. To be sure, let's open up the cheat engine too. Like I said, not for cheating, but to speed up the process just in case. Sometimes you need to speed up the process. Speed up the game. And besides that, here it is time to talk about a little bit about some posts I had made a year ago from a different iteration from a different account on Twitter, X as we call it today. And a good point I want to make is the germ theory. Okay, the germ theory, and the germ theory is something people do not talk about, because during the fiasco that happened in the first years of the third decade, 2020 and 2022, from between these points, you could see issues. You could see among people, even those that were considered in our team being those who were so-called the deniers. Okay, the people that didn't want to get locked out, the people that didn't believe that if the reason existed, it was even a good reason at all. And it goes on like that. The problem is that this team invariably and inevitably had elements that were subversive, in my opinion. And the reason they were subversive was because they had the wrong ideas about how to pursue anything substantial. I'm juggling with the process speeds and all that, the process priorities, because this is not a very efficient system of the best of systems, so to speak. That is why you may see a spike in the lag in the game. The germ theory. The germ theory, and before the germ theory, it is the reasons why we fight. There was one guy I once knew who had this nickname. Why are we fighting? He was a Dutch fellow whom I respect, although we haven't talked in ages. I hope he's okay. He and his sister, good folks, both of them, treated me with kindness. Hang on, let me get the speed hat going with a 4, a menacing 4. And why are we fighting? It is, oh my god, why the spike? I'm sorry guys, this should not be happening. It should not be happening. Spikes should not be happening. Yes, that Dutch guy has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just the name. Why are we fighting? Why are we fighting in this war, so to speak? Why did we have these objections against the lockdowns and the objections and all that? Some fell into the so-called trap of saying that we do this because well, because it was not a good enough reason. Actually, this is the point I'm trying to make. That it was not a good enough reason, and these people kept saying that. And it was not exactly something I liked. It was not something... it wasn't likable at all. The idea that it wasn't a good enough reason. It's like, we don't have enough deaths. We don't have enough casualties to justify. Okay? Notice the way it's phrased, the way it's framed. To justify the issue. If you see the faster speed, it's natural. Like you see in the monitor, I have it 4 times. So it's not, if you are going to say that I'm skilled, it's not that I'm skilled, I'm just lucky for now. Because at some point you just accelerate and you die very quickly and most painfully. Imagine that again. Anyway, the point is that many made this point about, oh, you know what, it's not a good enough reason. It's not a good enough reason. Not good enough reason, right? And it's interesting that this point was made because it inevitably begs the question, well, what is a good enough reason? Hang on, let me disable this speed hack because it's, oh yes, it's a bit difficult now. Because I'm playing melee and melee is difficult. What is a good enough reason? This is the question that is begged, and the problem is that when you beg this question, the reason will be invented, okay? That's my point. My point is that inevitably, if you allow any sort of window for the assault on your liberties, this assault will happen. It's akin to this, to some, to the iron, not the iron law, some law about leftists, that any organization that is not explicitly anti-leftist will inevitably become a leftist. This was some rule of some guy, I don't remember the name. But it is similar. If you are not deontologically supporting freedom, and you're just allowing a window by saying, oh yes, you know what, it's just, we have an issue, but it's contextual. It's like we have an issue now. We have an issue with the assaults on our freedoms, not because of the assaults per se, but because they're not justified well enough. And this means, and we're talking about, our enemies here are not some sort of idiots, you know. I mean, they are idiots, but they have the quantitative element on their side. Okay, so by that I mean they have the numbers, man. It's like the song goes, they have guns, but we have the numbers, huh? But this time they have the guns and the numbers. That's the reality about the state. It's the people who believe in the state in general, the church, the cult of the state. We are, it can be argued that we are a cult, but we are in a different cult, that's it. The point is, to not drift away from the topic, is that when you allow such a window to exist, when you say that, oh, you know what, it's just that it's not a good enough reason. Huh? These people have teams of propagandists working all the shifts they can. We will take this. Working many shifts and making a fair amount of money to pretend, of course, that they're working among their families and all that. I'm working in so-and-so newspaper, you know. I'm working in so-and-so authority, in so-and-so regulatory body. But these people, there are many, there are armies of them, in so-called private places and so-called public places. They are, and all of them, under the command of the state in a way. And all of them say, basically, are arguing for the same thing, and to find good enough reasons. That's my point. Finding good enough reasons, and these reasons will be found. That's my point. They will be found. You may say to yourself that what I'm saying is just you know, conspiracy theory. It's just schizo. But again, Skitzo Strим. You know. That's the point of the stream, first of all. And secondly, besides that, it is that I've heard people who are treating this in a way, they're acting like serious adults and saying, oh, this will never happen. This will never happen. They were saying, oh yes, this assault on your liberties that you're talking about, and they were saying that in the middle of the quarantines, right? In the middle of the lockdowns, they were saying that. They were saying, these assaults will not happen as long as you follow suit. As long as you obey the orders, further assaults will not happen. So basically, as long as you acquiesce to the rowdy and the spoiled brat that demands more and more candy, nothing bad will happen. Okay? Nothing bad will happen, man. Just do what the brat says, man. Just give him candy, man. What are you, a bad parent? It's funny because we are told that the state is the parent, but the truth is it's the other way around. The state always acts like a child. Because of course it is a child. Why can't you pay that? The child can't understand why you don't have the money as a parent. I'm going to die. It's very likely that I will die here. The child does not understand why you don't have the notion that you don't have money, and if you say you don't have money, the child will always you know, try to check whether or not you have some bills, you know, some some dollar bills lying around and will tell you, but you have these dollar bills and you can't spare some for them for me. Just like communists do. They say, oh, but you have this money lying. Like I said, you have this money lying around. Why can't you do it? Anyway, so I had these people, these I'm talking about serious people, Gen Xers, by the way, Gen Xers or some boomers, who are serious, realistic. They thought that what I'm saying is either schizo or utopian, one of the two. It means the same thing, that you are not having contact with the reality. That's what they want. They want to pretend that, oh, we have contact with the reality. We are realists. And they are so realistic, by the way, so realistic that their prerogative is to support something that fails time and again. And not only fails, but it's also balls in your face stupid. Asinine stupid. It's certainly unjust. It's certainly unjust. We could go for that. Increase his capability. Oh, the poor knight. The poor. He needs better gear. He needs better gear. Oh, what Grant? Yes, Grant. And Nixie's just insufferable. I mean, look at her. Nothing. She all talk, no walk. That's Nixie. Anyway, so these realists, they would tell you back then, in the middle of the lockdowns, they would tell you that no other sorts will happen. And I'm not talking about people who are somewhat fellow travelers. I'm talking about people who are enemies, on the enemy side clearly. They would say, oh, it would never happen. I mean, I had this guy, okay, and he's basically doing marketing. He's doing marketing, he's showing off medications, and by that I mean he's just giving gifts to doctors so that certain medications are preferred as opposed to others. He's just a marketer. That's what he is. And he makes a fair amount of money from what I understand. I don't know, but he makes a certain amount of money. He was, the guy that trusts the experts. He was just the trust the experts guy. I was about to make a mistake of picking the attack. He was the trust the experts guy. And he was the kind of guy who was ready to, show me all sorts of literature that he meticulously found to prove to me that the gospel of his church, of his little cult was correct and all that. I was not interested in any of that, and he didn't like it, of course. But the point is that he played this whole shtick. This I can't describe it. He like a stonewall, like saying, "Oh no, this will not happen." And it was as if he was trying, as if he was telling me something from a position of authority. He was a Gen X. It was as if he was telling me something from a position of, oh, you don't know. This will never happen. You don't know enough. Evidently, you don't have enough life experience, lived experience, as the leftists call it, lived experience to know what you're talking about. The only problem being, besides that I did have it, was that there was no, well, first things first, there was no sort of guarantee. He could not guarantee it. I mean, what? Because the experts say, because some guy from a prestigious or non-prestigious, some guy with a special sort of paper that says he knows something, or a special sort of hat that says he knows something, will be trusted. And okay, suppose we trust him. What if he fucks up? I mean, let's check the record of these people, okay? And the record of these people is they have been fucking up, they have been saying the wrong things, or they have been pretending to say the wrong things for the sake of not creating panic, or not starting to have people consume stuff that must not be consumed, like masks. You know how they said, "Oh, the masks, they're nothing, they don't work" in the beginning. And of course, in the beginning, they could always turn around and say, "Oh, we said that so that you idiots do not get any sort of panic." In order for you not to get panicked, we said that. Now, apart from the obvious, I mean, let's go to the deontological Kantian perspective and say, what does this say about you? You lied first. What does this say about you? Okay. Pandemonium, yes, we go for the legend. Always go for the legend. Honestly, if you are going to act like this, and I mean the noble lie, okay? That's what I was thinking. The noble lie, because that's these people. That's the way these people think. They think they are some sort of Platonic, great minds, great nobles, standing on top of mountains and preaching to the unwashed masses, right? and they are saying, hang on. Yes, no, Divine Shield. They're saying stuff like, well, we did that so that there is no panic. Okay, and what does this say about you, bitch? If you're willing to lie because you can't trust the people that, I mean, okay, I get it, you don't trust them. These people think that people are kids, and to be honest, the people are not exactly making good points to the contrary when they are believing the authorities like that. You know what? If you're going to believe a grifter, then maybe you deserve being grifted. Once, twice, three times, you know what? If a pattern emerges, maybe you deserve to be part of a pattern. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just I may be a bad guy who doesn't understand, who doesn't have any solidarity, as some other person I know told me once. But you know what? Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. I may be the guy without solidarity here, but it may be true. I mean, if there is an emergent pattern and you just are going to be always the kind of idiot, the gullible idiot that believes all the time that these kind authorities are sitting on the mountains reading tea leaves or shit in our case, because they were literally reading shit. They were going and checking the sewage, for crying out loud. So they were literally taking their omens from shit. I mean, there is probably a good argument to be made that after all, perhaps they deserve it. They deserve being corrected. And as I was saying, it is the issue of whether or not what this says about you. If, first of all, if you're willing to lie for some noble cause, so to speak. By the way, you are the one who decides what is noble and what isn't, right? So, by the way, what makes you different from a criminal? Suppose for a second that you want to commit a crime, okay? What makes the cause noble? That you say so? That you have this thing in your mind that's, oh, yes, you know, it's like that Gen X guy told to me that it will not happen. And he had this authoritative way of talking, no, it will not happen, because, I mean, it is not sensible to happen, right? We are talking like Anglos here, like realists, and this is not sensible. It would never happen. Of course, after a while, we will get your asses whooped. We will have you in these lovely chastity cages, like cucks. But it will not happen. Not here. Not under such proper authorities, right? I changed pronunciation midstream. I'm sorry. Not under such proper authorities, right? No way. We are serious people. Serious people. We would never do that. We are serious and indeed nice consecration, very nice consecration, but not sure I want purification is the name of the game. We are sensible people, that is what I am saying, and we could never do that. Could we ever do that? And by the way, we are talking about people that were not in control of the situation. Okay, they were not in control. They were just nobodies, just guys that were inferring about what an authority would do, and they were going like, "Oh yes, no, this would never happen." How do you know? Are you having contacts with the people involved? Do you have anything to do with these authorities? Are you in the know? Are you so high and mighty yourself? Perhaps that's the problem. Perhaps they think they're so high and mighty that, or perhaps because of the ideas they believe in, they are suddenly gentrified, and their shit smell better because they believe the story of a nice doctor with a white robe. A guy who is not even a doctor. Epidemiologist. These people are not doctors, by the way. They call themselves epidemiologists. What do they do, by the way? Probably their studies involve maybe statistics, and that's it. I doubt it's anything more than that. What? Do they know even the gospel of microbiology? I'm not sure. And besides, if they did, I mean, why wouldn't you just study biology? Why is there this specific sort of niche? The epidemiology. No, we're not doctors. We are epidemiologists. We are not doing anything that involves the pitiful biologists and other people. We are defining the policy. We are at the top of the republic. Huh? That is what we are. And we know best. We know best. How to interpret the gospel? How to interpret the gospel? We know it best. Yeah, you can understand the impressive cases we are surrounded by. And like I said, it won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen, boy. I don't say goy. I'm not saying goy for the sake of, be PG-13, so be safe. It won't happen, boy. This will not happen. Not to us. Not by these experts. Not by these benign personalities. I mean, look at them. How could they do anything bad? I mean, sure, they lied once, but they lied for our good. Sure, they lied once, but about the masks, but they lied because we would succumb to our instincts. We would succumb to panic and all that. They did it for the best. And how about later, when they said that certain substances would not work, others, that even though statistically speaking, I mean, if you analyze the statistics, which are the same things that the average doctor analyzes, statistics, all doctors are like, what they are is at best they are doing statistics. That's all. Okay, I'm not sure I will survive this. I mean, this cunt is a difficult cunt. She's making. Oh, but at least she gets better attack speed. That's good for her. Good for her, dear. Good for her. So supposedly, for example, the ivermectin, okay, ivermectin or whatever, or some vitamin D or whatever the hell, or some echinacea stuff, you know, echinacea, however you want to pronounce it. Some supplements, so to speak. Perhaps it's a deficiency, you know. Perhaps it's just a deficiency of some vitamins or whatever. But no, these things, and statistically, these things may be. It may be well advised to at least pay some attention to these things. And yet, no, they don't hear that, and they lied on that. Then they lied on other stuff, like for example the necessity of doing lockdowns, even according to their standards, the necessity, because they say, at a certain year, I don't remember the year, but it was early, they said, we need to do the lockdowns, we have a lot of cases. Then it turns out that the cases, according to their gospel, by the way, not mine, the cases increased at a later date, when the lockdowns were somewhat lifted. So, or perhaps the lockdowns were already there and they were not bad enough, and the cases were increased, and yet there wasn't such a push to my point isn't that the lockdowns, that the absence of lockdowns created something. They did. It's more like they did not follow even their own reasoning. That's what I'm saying. And like I said, that was a lie. It was the lie of whether or not it was. I mean, it can be argued that even by their logic, it wasn't necessary. And I mean, they were just reinventing the wheel. That was my issue. Many of these issues were just reinventing the wheel. And they were supposedly known, according to their own gospel, believing in the germ theory, according to their own gospel, these things were already known. So why the sudden change, why all this? And why do we have all these idiots saying that, oh, you know what, nothing will happen. All these authoritative morons with a certain age on their backs, saying that because of course somebody who has an age on his back supposedly knows, okay? Because if you've been a sucker too many times, that suddenly makes you wise. Automatically, being a sucker for many times allows you to have bragging rights later and say, oh, you know what, I made so many mistakes, and you will have to hear me. It's akin to that, to all these people with the robes. All these people with the robes who say, well, at least science goes on, science is improving, and we have collected that. That's an impressive thing they say. We have collected valuable data. So you fuck up monumentally doing something or pretending to do something, and your cope and Sneed is to say that we collected valuable data. So I failed 100 times to get a femoid to go to bed with me. But we collected valuable data. Okay, boy. Let's see. And then of course I presume that you want me to say that. Okay, let's see the next 100 times. So you want People that just cut you some slack over and over and do, oh yes, you gathered some data, obviously you will not fuck up this time. Okay, what if you went to a car mechanic and he fucked up? Will you go again? And he told you some sob story about how he collected valuable data, how he has accumulated life experience from back then, and how he is doing better now. And you should not be so rough on him and all that. How he will certainly do things better now. And he even turns around and he says to you, you know what? No, you have a problem, because if you don't trust me, I'm the expert. But boy, you're not the expert, you fucked up. No, I'm the expert. This special paper here, I'm almost changing to the Asiatic accents. This special paper here says that I'm expert. So you trust the expert, huh? It becomes evident that somebody is bullshitting us. I mean, and okay, I get it. Trust the experts, I get it. Up until which point? I mean, we're going to be suckers, okay? Suppose there is somebody who asks you for money, a Nigerian prince, okay? And he says you, give me money. And you give the money, and you get no return on investment. None. Not even on the negative side. Like you remain on the negative, but you at least made something. You salvaged something out of it. Now, would you trust the guy again? No, you would call him a grifter. Now, when it is a Nigerian prince, everybody laughs. You see it in the sitcoms, right? You see in the sitcoms saying, oh, he's a Nigerian prince. And everybody laughs. Cue in the laugh track because she trusts a Nigerian prince. Oh my God, how gullible. And yet you go and you trust the experts who have the same record as the so-called Nigerian prince. Oh no, this time around you will not lose your money. This time around, trust the experts. We have gathered valuable data. Trust the science. And the realists go from place to place and they keep saying that you are not justified if you have even the slightest sort of issues with that. I am really suffering now. But I got rid of some of the ways. God damn it! This is just hellish. And I have only 1.5 minutes, God damn it. So if I did, I mean, that's my fucking problem. I mean, I'm jealous, guys. I'm fucking jealous. I'm like just a guy who's jealous, okay? I'm jealous because I'm thinking, okay, suppose I did the same thing. Suppose I did the same thing, right? And I decided I fucked up, okay? I either fucked up intentionally or unintentionally. It doesn't matter. The point is I fucked up. I fucked up, and then I say to people, oh, yes, trust me again. That is going to be a bit difficult. That is indeed a clusterfuck, in my opinion. But I will accumulate a lot of experience if I manage to survive this. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Like I said, we have lived experience, bro. It's not like I died. It's not like I fucked up, man. Yes, it's like you're playing a roguelike game. right? And oh yes, it doesn't matter. No big deal. No biggie. We have better gear now, boy. We have better gear, so the next round will be better. Yeah. No one even thinks that this sounds like, fishy. There's the scent of shit. Oh shit. I'm not sure I will make it through. Oh, it burns. It burns us. Well, I failed. Big deal, I failed. What would you expect? It's hell, man. What would you expect? So yeah, I'm feeling jealous because, the experts won. And I'm playing with no difficulty, and she's still a pile of shit. She's still a pile of shit even for a little difficulty. Come on. Wait a second. No, never mind. Burn it all. Burn it all. And let's put the hastened boots of light. I guess. It's not applicable. I'm an idiot. It's not applicable. 50, 48 armor. Boots, the same boots actually. What else? Okay, they're useless. They're useless. Sold. They're fucking useless. So, if I did that, if I went to people and sold this store, no one would believe. And besides this obvious thing, then we have the issue of deontology and the fact that, okay, even if, that's the argument I'm trying to make. First of all, even if it was right, even if these measures lowered the incidences of the so-called whatever it is, and all that, of the cases, that does not, that's neither here nor there. Back in the day, that's my fucking argument. Back in the day, there were people that were dying, and they were saying liberty or death. Liberty or death. Today you can't do that. Today, whenever death is on the table, everyone is like dropping their pants and saying, rule me harder, daddy. Rule me harder, daddy. One belly. That's a belly. Jewel. The jewel may be good enough. That is good enough. Banish dice. Not spell damage. They are all subpar in my. Or they're all. Whatever. What about amulets? Are there any amulets here? What about the this was like create life, fully speed. No work. Who's this? The person. In the meantime, this will do. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. For a moment I thought the assassin took it. No. I did the right thing. Okay. Anyway, so first of all, deontologically speaking, it's not right. Because, I mean, certain liberties cannot be taken. Even if the mortality was 99.99999%, or even if it was even if it was certain that everyone would die, it would still not be justified. Because suppose we live in this world of the demiurge, because that's what we're talking about, the world of the demiurge, in which the only way to go past this level is to take everyone's liberties. Everyone's liberties. Yes, very well. This is not going to work. Yes, necromancy. What sort of life would you have without it? And I mean, many people would want it. Many people would enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. Many people would be like, oh yes, whatever. Why not survive? As long as we survive, right? As long as we survive. They don't seem to grasp the. To be honest, they don't have this nobility to understand the real value of freedom. Apart from that, I mean, yes, of course, you can say, but you're not realistic. We're going to be threatened. This, that, the other. Okay, yes, we will be threatened. I get it. But consider this: you're an idiot. Consider this: you're an idiot. If all you care about is about survival, what sort of survival will you get? I mean, animalistic survival? Is this your threshold for to accept everything? I don't know. And besides that, I mean, in my opinion, this is the strongest possible argument and the only argument, the deontological, saying that, you know what, no, fuck you. The no fuck you argument. The no fuck you, I will stay free. I don't care how many people die. I don't care if grandmother dies. I don't care if parents, if old people, if young people, if anybody, if everybody dies, if I die, I don't care. If you're going to fuck up life to such an extent that we're not free to a significant amount, I mean, we are already not free, but the freedoms are already taken so much that they make life basically not even life, just existence. Then fuck you. No, I'm not giving up anything. I don't care about the cost. This is the idea behind the freedom or death motto. When you say that, everybody dismisses you and says, "Oh yes, you are this this weirdo, or you are just this psychopath who hates mommy and daddy, or granny and gramps, and all that. And you understand the level of discourse, and this is typical of leftists, by the way. People who are enamored with leftism, they always say, oh, you don't love somebody. Oh, you don't love me enough. You don't love me enough. If you don't do what they say, you don't love me enough. And it's like an abusive relationship where if you don't follow suit, if you don't do what they tell you, then you don't love them enough. And when this happens, when you are in such a situation, the right response is to say, no, fuck you, and prepare yourself for conflict, or cease relations, depending on situations. If we're talking about an armed enemy, then the right course of action is to be armed and prepared for conflict. Of course, I'm not suggesting this here. After all, in any monitored place, to suggest armed insurrection is dumb, but theoretically speaking, that would be the right course of action. In the case I'm describing. And in the case of an abusive relationship, the best you can do is to tell the other person to fuck off and move on. Criteria, range. They're all nice ones. I would take mine. Although I wanted the attack speed. And when we go beyond that, when we go beyond the issue of the deontological perspective, then there is the issue of the theoretical background of what they are telling us, i.e., the germ theory. And then you, it's a process of getting red pill, basically, and as you look into it, you find out that after all, the trust the science are not really trusting, they are not really doing anything scientific. I mean, even if this scientific thing was to exist, the truth is that these people are not even rigorous according to their own standards. The Koch's principle, or whatever it's called in microbiology. The thing is that you would need certain conditions to apply to attribute something, a disease, to a microbe, to a microbial organism. To attribute a disease to a microbial organism, you would need certain postulates, Koch's postulates, if I remember correctly. These things are not have not been fulfilled, and in fact, it has all been contrived so much so that oh wait a second. If you saw a spike, this is because I am dealing with extraordinary pressures on. Oh my God! I say, oh the lag spikes. Oh my God! Oh, the lag spikes are real, guys. I think I'll survive it, but it is difficult. Enemy barriers, yes. I need that. Oh, get away, get away, get away, get away. And oh my God, the level of lag. Oh my God. Perhaps I shouldn't play this game after all. I'm sorry. So if you look into the issues of the germ theory, you find out that many of the things they did, like more than a century ago, was that they created a theory first, and then they made sure to fit everything to that narrative. They created this idea of the virus, and then they made sure to stick to make everything fit that narrative. At the last gem high, that's what. Jesus, why couldn't this come earlier? Where is that sneaky bastard? About time. I mean, for example, there was this thing about anthrax, okay? I will shit some pronunciation, perhaps, to make it more understandable. In the case of anthrax, what you could observe is that the same exact things that have been attributed to anthrax have been can also be attributed to something. I mean, is it lead poisoning? I think lead poisoning. I'm not sure if it's lead poisoning or mercury poisoning. One of the two. Possibly lead. I'm not sure. But it's some sort of. No, I'm wrong. Arsenic poisoning. Arsenic poisoning. I remember now. So the things that can be attributed to anthrax, according to what the folks who support the germ theory suggest. These same things can be attributed to arsenic poisoning. And we could see enormous contrivances in in those who had this hypothesis about the germ theory. They really dragged things by the hair, so to speak, so that it would fit their narrative. That there are these things that are microbes but are not microbes. These things that are tinier than microbes, and they are very evil, and they act like microbes, and they act like parasites. They want to enter your body and the body of a cell, and this, that, the other. They're so bad, but you will notice, as you are getting red pilled, you will notice that they allow some truths to seep through the things they're saying. So, for example, you go to the Wikipedia article, and Wikipedia, of course, is the establishment at play. You go to the Wikipedia article and you find out that the first thing they say about the virus, about the notion of the virus, is not that it is something living. They call it infectious agent. Infectious agent, that's an interesting notion. I mean, imagine someone ages ago going around and saying, "Oh, that's an infectious agent." Don't touch, that's an infectious agent. Imagine somebody 300 years ago going to Lavoisier or some guy who deals with chemistry at that time and telling him, "Oh, don't deal with that. That's an infectious agent. Don't touch that. Infectious agent." It would not register. They would not understand what you're saying, and most likely they would consider it some sort of the demon, okay? Because that's what we're talking about, the evil spirits. That is the truth, and actually, this is how these people have treated the situation. When you see what happened in these 2 years, 2020 and 2022, between these 2 years, you find out that this is the exact course of action, the modus operandi that these guys had. It was all like, these are the evil demons that we need to shield ourselves from. So infectious agent, hello, that should give you pause, because also what should give you pause, and what I started this, what I wanted to start it as, right? This part was that they don't call it living. They don't call viruses living. They make sure to say it's not a living thing. Hence the expression infectious agent. Now imagine how dumb you look when you say, first of all, you look very dumb by saying infectious agent, and secondly, it should give you pause to think that, oh, so if it's not something living, then is it a molecule? Is it something like, oh, perhaps it's just, oh my god, it's big lag spikes, and I'm about to die. Oh, and I resurrected, that's nice. That's neat. That's neat, and that is also, oh my god, nightmarish proportions. This is not supposed to happen. Why is she dying? This is not supposed to happen. And the lag is so much that I can't even escape the arrows. I'm in a mosh pit and I can't escape the arrows, goddammit. Oh my god. And he takes so much life from me. Honestly, this has been one of the worst runs. Why? I had no buffs. I had no buffs, guys. All the good stuff that would give me an edge, and they did not appear. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, so infectious agent about the viruses, and then they don't call them living. So when you see something about a cell, a cell as in a microcellular organism, you instantly read that it's something living. They instantly plaster the label "living" on it. But when it comes to the viruses, then it's not living, and they start being very careful, to not overstepping boundaries. They start to be very careful to Why these spikes? I have these lag spikes that are unacceptable, completely unacceptable. Where do they come from? I may not be able to finish it to finish the game, guys. Anyway, my point is that they probably try to lie about it, but truth is so in your face that they try to do damage control. That's the idea. When they can't lie to you properly, they will try to do damage control, and that's what we see here. And in this case, the damage control is in the form of they don't say whether or not something is living. They will say that this thing, which is definitely not in the living realm, we do not label it, we do not plaster the label living, and yet we also say that this thing it's just an infectious agent. I've said it before, but importantly, the reason they don't call it living is because they cannot prove that it's living. They can't prove it as it's living. And then it's all, then it's all a philosophical, sort of semantic conversation about what is life. And, and then it becomes, navel-gazing. But didn't they define the cells as living? Okay? Because, of course, aren't the cells, reproducing? Aren't the cells using DNA? Aren't the cells using RNA and mRNA and all that? The cells are using all the different forms of RNA and DNA. And yet, the definition, calling them living is far easier. That's my point. It is far easier for the people in charge to call a cell a living organism. Or, an amoeba. An amoeba, to call an amoeba a living organism. Than to call a virus. Again, the virus as they perceive it. Because, of course, this thing as they perceive it does not exist. Or to put it in a more reasonable term for you, it has not been proven to exist. And by their own words, I need to underline this, according to their own words, not only is it impossible, not only can't they prove it, but it's impossible according to their own words. They can only infer its existence. Because according to their own words, they admit it, that you can't use, and it's obvious, of course you can't use anyone who understands what an electronic microscope is. An electron microscope, I'm sorry for stuttering, just thinking about it now. An electron microscope needs current to pass through whatever it's looking at, in order to detect the reflection of the electrons, so to speak. And in the case of such small specimens like what they call the viruses, it could not survive the electrical current. In fact, I believe the same can be said for cells, but I don't remember if it is applicable or not. It is certainly applicable in the case of viruses. Again, what we perceive to be viruses. So what we have is something that is dead, it is inoperable. And all the pictures, whatever pictures you have ever seen, these are, at best, if we even believe these things were ever living and ever operational, these things are corpses. And if we don't believe that, hang on. But if we don't believe that, then the problem is that how did they infer it? We don't know that. They had a theory about viruses before the emergence of viruses. Before they could even see them, they had an idea. And now I'm just, just doing something like low church Protestant thing. I'm just describing to you things, the scriptures. Although you can check the scriptures yourself. These things are kind of sort of open source. You can find them, and you can find them by checking germ theory, lies. Germ theory, exposed. Germ theory, denial. Because of course the great word we need today and always is denial, denier. God forbid you deny anything, right? God forbid. And these things, whatever they are, like I said, they're not alive. So that's why they plaster the disclaimers that we cannot say they're alive. That's why even the scientists will tell you, oh, they are between life and they are something in between life. They are in the twilight of life. They find these poetic things to say about viruses and all that, but the reality is that they can't prove it, and they can never prove it, technically speaking. And besides that, the way they detect it overall is stupid, because they have these cultures, they call it cultures, and in reality is they have these sick cells, these sickly cells, weak cells, that first of all, what they do is they poison them with antibiotics or something that will poison them and clear the slate, so to speak. They use something that will clean the slate, and then, after they've cleaned the slate, they procure these tiny things. Some call them exosomes, most call them viruses. And they procure these tiny things that come out of the dead cell. This is, by the way, my understanding of it. I may say things a bit wrong, but the gist is kind of sort of in the right place, what I understand. So they procure these small things, and they say that these fragments, whatever they are the viruses. These things go into the cell, they infiltrate the cell, and then they go out and they break it up apart. You've seen these images, right? These sketches where this evil thing with the tentacles, goes inside and it rips you apart, right? And oh my God, this happens, and these things enter you like that. And we were told how these things are more resilient. You cannot deal with them with the regular poisons, the regular antibiotics. You cannot deal with them with with any other way, vitamins, whatever. The only way to deal with them is with antiviral drugs, which are these specialized poisons that focus even on a molecular level. The molecule of RNA or DNA that is in the virus. They're trying to disrupt this. And God knows what this may mean for the rest of the DNA of the entire body, the entire host organism, assuming that this is a host of a malicious entity. And besides that, they admit that there is no way to get rid of the viruses. You can't get rid of the viruses. They tell you you can only treat them. You can only get them to subside. The viruses are always there. That's an interesting view. That there is no cure. And another thing that is interesting is that at times they even admit, and this is the interesting part, is that you need to understand, like I said, when liars admit a truth, this is not because they've had a change of heart or because they've seen the error in their ways or something like that. It's because they're trying to do damage control. So if they can perceive, if they can anticipate that you will discover something soon, then they will pretend like they have discovered it, or they will tell you, but you know what, don't make the mistake of thinking this is the case, and they will tell you a truth. But the truth will be limited, and the truth will be presented in such a way as to not defeat the credibility, not undermine the credibility of science. And to that end, that's what they do in the case of the viruses. They say that they cannot, basically, you cannot be treated. There are these antiviral drugs, but they are like a recent invention, and from what I understand, and they disrupt things that, for all intents and purposes, we could argue that these same things could be disrupted within the organism, the body, the living being you are trying to save, in our case humans. And yes, I forgot what I wanted to say, that's why I put that there. More importantly, we have to understand that these viruses are not bad, like at all, because the reason they exist is as a sort of, the word I'm looking for is sexual organ. That's what they are. They are sexual organs. They are reproductive organs. That's what the viruses are. That brings many questions, because the question is, why would I call it sexual organ? And what is sexual organ? It is fundamentally an organ that facilitates the transmission of information, that facilitates and accelerates the transmission of information, namely genetic information. So sexual reproduction emerged as a very efficient way, in a quick way to distribute information, genetic information that is. But it is a mistake to think there was no way to transmit information before the emergence of sexual reproduction. In reality, this transmission was happening using these things that we call today viruses, and some call exosomes. These things, they're like capsules that have genetic material in them. And they, and according to the gospel we believe in today, they infect other cells, but the reality is they go to other cells and they transmit information akin to sexual organ. It is akin to sexual intercourse. Doesn't this make you wonder? I mean, don't you get this weird feeling when you hear the scientists saying this recurring thing that in our genome we have a big part of us consists of viral material in our genome? Doesn't it make you wonder why they would say that? And why this would be the case? This is the case, and even they admit it to an extent, this is the case because viruses, what we call viruses, the exosomes, these exosomes are actually vectors for the transmission of genetic information. They are the way the organisms that do not have the ability to reproduce sexually, they increase the spread of information among their peers, so to speak, among their species. That explains the genome, why we have so many so-called areas of our genome that are from viruses. The viruses are living there, you know. They exist. They have piggybacked on us for so much time. No, it's more like they are an instrument. An instrument in the procedure of distribution of genetic information. The dissemination of genetic information, to put it more properly. Hence my calling it sexual organ. And I think I got something like that from reading Nick Land, you know, the guy, the accelerationist guy, whom I don't care about too much, but I read on him, I think, and that's how I got this notion myself. And besides that, then I started, you know, navel-gazing and thinking that sexual intercourse itself, sex in itself, is the transmission of information, the dissemination of information. And this is the case in every regard. I'm not just talking about you know, the sperm and the eggs and all that. I'm not talking about these technicalities. I'm talking the all forms of transmission of information are in essence a form of sex. So that's why the word homilia in ancient Greek could be interpreted as that thing, as intercourse. I've heard this interpretation from somebody. There is a sexual element in the transmission of information because this is how it began. This is what it is. Sex is the transmission of information. And it is this intercourse is really a dialogue. And indeed a combination, if we go through the Hegelian route. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. This is a tangent, of course. The point I was making was that viruses are this thing. They're just an instrument for organisms that do not reproduce sexually, overtly sexually. They are covert. They are mechanisms for covert sexual interaction, so to speak. Unlike the overt mechanisms, which are the things we know today as asexual reproduction. And this may be the technical side, the the real underbelly of what it is, the real substance, what we're talking about. But this is not what science is talking about. Because when they're talking about viruses, it's religion. When they're talking about viruses, it is a religious creed. It is akin to going to somebody and asking them to drive away the evil spirits. I mean, that's what we saw these 2 years, these shameful 2 years that will be remembered by our people. They will be remembered with shame. Yes, I'm sorry for being escaped. I I had some issues to deal with. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the whole thing about the viruses and the germ theory in general, it is a cult, it is cultist, and importantly, uh, without patterns. You need to recognize the patterns. So in these 2 years, like I was saying, in these 2 shameful years of 2020 to 2022, the 2 to 3 shameful years that will be remembered by our people, not everybody, by our people, by those who understand what I'm talking about, and those who understand the meaning of what happened in these 2 years. It will be remembered, and we will remember certain elements and certain times in which people were saying, don't touch this this doorknob, right? But the doorknob is like from metal. Don't touch these railings, or balcony, or whatever. These railings. Or don't touch the railings on the stairs whenever you're going somewhere. Because this thing, this virus, this pestilence, this exists for like 2 days. Like 2 days it exists in there, like a miasma, right? And the priest tells you, the witch doctor goes and says, oh, and I see the evil demons, the evil spirits out there. The witch doctor goes and says, oh, I see the evil demons right there, the evil spirits. And they will stay for 48 hours. And if you dare touch them, it will go in you. And then you will infect everyone. Everyone across you will be infected. And God knows what will happen. Now, of course, when you hear this as an outsider, because that's what we are, we were outsiders. If we were insiders, we would kind of sort of dance this ridiculous dance they did, but we couldn't, because we didn't hear the music, so to speak. In Nietzschean terms, we didn't hear the music. We didn't hear that music, we heard a different music. That's why they called us schizos, and that's why we call them dumbasses and NPCs and scientists and whatever. So what they heard was that this thing that don't touch the railings, don't touch this, don't touch the other. Be careful, you will wear the masks. Now you wear the masks. Before that, the scientists said, oh, don't wear them, because they had the right reasons. It was about not spreading the panic. But now it's right. And also we collected data. Whatever mistakes we make, we collected valuable data. Science moves on, right? That's what they've been saying. Science moves on, we've collected more data. And you have people who are afraid of even breathing. Or going around, I shit you not, they're going around, they invent new forms of handshakes. Like, what the fuck are we? Freemasons to invent new sorts of Masonic handshakes and whatever to avoid the evil spirits, to avoid transmitting the evil spirits. Oh, I'm sorry, viruses. I meant viruses. I meant diseases. Because we've sort of evolved from the savagery of the so-called Middle Ages, right? We've evolved from that. We're so much better. Humanity moves on. With history, right? Humanity moves on, there is progress. We're better than the savages of the past, right? And that's why we're thinking so fucking clearly. So fucking clearly. And that's why there is this mass paranoia of people being plastic clad, wearing plastic from top to bottom, with special barriers in their faces and all that. Walking around like idiots with ridiculous outfits, if they walk around at all, of course, because most of them stayed at home and stayed safe. That's what the religion said. Stay at home, stay safe. Some of us had to fucking bury our fucking dead under these conditions. Mind you, many of these dead even believed the stories. So that's the level of deceit that's going on. And I'm not saying that being in a cult is necessarily a bad thing. In a way, we're all in a cult. In a different cult, each of us. And I heard this being said about me by certain guys that I once knew and ceased having contact because they were assholes. But I heard that I was acting like a Jehovah's Witness. And not I, as in personally, but ANCAPs. It was not personally, they did not call me by name or by pseudonym, but they used generalizations. That you ANCAPs, that's what you do. You ANCAPs are like Jehovah's Witnesses. And of course, they didn't know too many ANCAPs, so it was either about me or about a couple of other people they knew. And I was among the more agreeable people. I was among the people that they could have a conversation very easily. And still. But the thing is, I received this characterization, basically as if I was a cultist. And it has to be understood that yes, for sure. I can say, to an extent, we are cultists. And to a very great extent, these guys that impose these lockdowns, that believe in the germ theory, that believe that all freedoms must be taken, for the silliest of reasons, for any reasons, or for the most serious of reasons, that freedoms are on the table as part of the discussion, so to speak. That's the important thing. The freedoms are on the table to be taken or given, according to their whims. We're not talking about something inalienable. These people are the worst cult, the most dangerous cult. These people who are the great-grandsons of those who started by believing in Whig history, that we are the pinnacle of history, that we can only go forward, we can only go upwards. There is nothing back there. Back there, there's only savagery. And and before us, in the future, there's only greatness, only better things to come. And of course, they don't mean that. You see that problem with the boomers and the Gen Xers and even the millennials now. You see the problem that they do believe in Whig history for them. So it's not like they will give up the torch to the next generation. It's like there is this constant attack of the next generation to the former generation, and the former generation believes that they are the only generation that had the truth. The boomers believe that. Oh, you youngsters, you don't. The Gen Xers do that. Authoritative. And inevitably, the millennials do that too. And the Zoomers will, and the rest of them. The Zoomers are really works of art, to be honest. But when you are outside a cult, it is when you can recognize the patterns. And the problem with us is that we are outside the cult. The problem with us is that we recognize these patterns. I mean, I recognized all these patterns. I mean, I saw people making their whole identity about whether or not they had the injections. And of course, I followed suit. I didn't have any injections. I survived. But does the viewer have any idea what kind of pressure I was dealing with? Everyone around me took the injection, and everyone believed in it. Everyone. There was not a single person who didn't take it. Maybe one or two exceptions. But they are insignificant, they're nothings. Everyone took it. So I was in the middle of this cult. And I noticed that they made all their fucking identities revolve around. It's as if whether or not you have done something, whether or not you are circumcised in the tribe, and you want to, and you hang out with people from the tribe or Muslims, and everybody else is circumcised, and they look at you, you're not circumcised? How dare you? Or if you're not baptized, back in the day in this country, everyone was baptized as an infant. So infant baptism was a thing, and it still is a thing. And in my case, I was an exception. I was not baptized, and I'm still not baptized as an Orthodox Christian. I don't regret that decision of my parents, and I don't regret not doing it. But I saw these same patterns of people that they look at you in the same way. That, oh, you didn't? And then invariably they start telling you how great it is to get the injection, and how safer you are from the jaws of hell. I mean, from death, from being in the ICU, because the ICU is death, right? It's not only death, it is damnation. It's worse than death. That's how they describe it. If you are going to the hospital, they will get you to the ICU, and if you go to the ICU, this is hell. They described it as hell, and it was their version of hell. It's not that you will die. Dying would be nothing, as they presented it. It was that you would be intubated, and you would die a slow death. And not only that, but your sins would not only cause you pain, it would cause pain to everyone else. Because everyone else would have to sustain you in that hellish situation. And not only that, but you would deprive other people of the chance to be in the purgatory, to save themselves, or to die. So don't you see the analogies? Are the analogies obvious to anyone who hasn't drank the Kool-Aid? I mean, to me it is. To me it is. Do you need them to make it any more clear to you? It can't be. It's difficult to make it more clear, to be quite honest. Difficult. And this was what was happening back then. And everybody forgot it, of course. When you are in this frenzy, in this ecstasy, in this condition, this trance of this religious trance, when it is lifted and the extraordinary situation it goes away, the festivities end, because that's what it was. It was a sort of festivities. It was a sort of a special festivity session for this religion. And when the festivities end, then people revert to a condition of being NPCs and not even remembering what happened in the mysteries, the Eleusinian mysteries, the festivity. They don't remember what happened. Oh, I was so drunk. I was so inebriated with the whole mystery that was in front of me, with the whole situation, that I can't remember what happened. The reality is even worse than fiction, as it turns out. Because these people, you talk to them now, these people that would not talk to you, that would basically hope that you died, that would basically try to intimidate you. They treated you very badly. They kept their distance from you. Some of them went out to specific places where only their people are allowed, the people who believe in the sect, the people who have been, who have received the baptism, the injection. These people today, they don't seem to remember what they said and did. They don't seem to remember. And if you remind them, they will get offended. Because how could you remember part of the this sacred process? That means you were not in it. You need to let yourself loose in the process. Let yourself loose in this ritual and the festivities. And not remember them afterwards. You just, no one asks. It's like in Yes Minister, what Humphrey Appleby said. Nigel Hawthorpe, I think, was the name of the actor. And he said that after the sacrifice has been done, no one asks what happened to the sacrificial offering. Unless, of course, you are one of us. And you are asking what the fuck happened to the sacrificial offering. And when you do, everybody looks at you and they think that you are a party pooper of sorts. And they would just rather end the conversation there, lest their jimmies are rustled, so to speak. So these are just snippets, they're just elements, they're just overall impressions that you get that make things that make you start to think that something is smelling shitty. You do not just see one thing that is completely I mean, many things are over the top, but you start to understand the gravity of the situation when you connect the dots. Because there are isolated incidents, this, that, the other, but then you connect the dots and you think this doesn't make any sense. No one operating in what you consider to be their right mind would act like that. And yet this has occurred. And like I said in a previous installment, I had the displeasure of living in a country that was celebrating its bicentennial. The bicentennial from the revolution that supposedly created this country. And that bicentennial in 2021 was the very same bicentennial that was celebrated under lockdown. A bicentennial celebrated under lockdown. You want to know what the rebels back in 1821 said? Indeed, not just 1821, because back in that day there were many rebellions. There were rebellions in Haiti, there were rebellions in Latin America, there were rebellions, hell, there were rebellions, some of them in Europe, afterwards in 1848. Now, in the rebellions of Latin America, many of them, and in some rebellions in the Balkans, because what I'm going to say does not just apply for the one here, in this country, it applies for countries in the Balkans in general. Slavic countries, South Slavic countries in the Balkans, they had the same motto. Do you know what that motto is? It was liberty or death. Freedom or death. Liberty or death. This motto, liberty or death, across so many countries. And this country celebrated its bicentennial, supposedly. This is not true, of course, because this was a celebration for the revolution, not the bicentennial of the state, because the state's bicentennial would be in 2029. 2029. That's when the official state began. The state of modern Greece, that is. But the bicentennial for the revolution was in 2021, under strict lockdown, under the strictest lockdown of the globe. Perhaps with the exclusion of Argentina, perhaps with tiny exclusions, the strictest. And these assholes who supported it, they had the nerve to applaud and to say and to feel nationally proud when the rebels, the motto of the rebels was liberty or death. You schmucks. You schmucks. Doesn't anyone else feel insulted? I mean, I don't care about. I don't really care about a bunch of corpses. To be honest, I mean that's what the revolutionaries are, right? Just a bunch of corpses, right? I don't care about them. I care about the principle. These schmucks died using these words, liberty or death. And the idiots today, for the sake of not even going to the ICU, or even feeling a little bit of the cough, not even coughing, they were willing to go to any level, to any extent that would seem stupid. So yeah, that's the rant I wanted to give you guys. Considering the fact that this game is giving me a headache when it comes to its lag. And I will return with some sermon, rant, sermon, however you want to call it, in the future. This time around I was not just relaying a stream or something like that. I wanted to talk about something, or rather ramble about something, stutter about something, however you call it. As you can see, I did not really have a structure in the stream. I don't have structure. Perhaps in the future. The truth is, when I don't see engagement, I don't put much work in the background, but the work has already been done. The idea is that it's not just, I am lazy, but it's not that I'm lazy. It's not that I don't have something to tell you. I have stuff to tell you. It's just that without a structure, it's more like a stream of consciousness, and I just reach the thing that I want to tell you naturally in the process. Hopefully in the future, if I see engagement in any platform, I will consider having a more structured approach. I may even consider something I did years ago, which was audio files in which I would edit them. I would have them the right speed, the right attributes, the right cutting of the silences and all that. I would conserve your time. I would help you have my hot takes if these hot takes are worth the damn. They may not be, for all I know. In a much more compressed and concise way, just the things that are necessary. And indeed, if I see engagement in general, I may return to writing actual texts. I used to have a Substack back in the day, and I also used to post on a Facebook account. However, I stopped, and I stopped mostly because I was tired of assholes, because there were assholes everywhere. They discouraged me from writing, and certain people were a bit psycho. By that I mean they were obsessive, and they were just bad sport, okay? Bad sport about it. And I just didn't feel like wasting my time on it. But if I see engagement, it will happen. In fact, I like Dave Mustaine would say from Megadeth, not for the money, not for the fame. I would not do it for money, or donations. I would do it anyway, because I want to just upload stuff and know that somewhere these data farms that are getting our data, they're getting overloaded with bullshit. And I will just want to contribute to the bullshit by getting my stuff there, my ramblings there. Yeah, that's more gigabytes for you to find, you fucking assholes. And also, for perpetuity, but not for posterity. Just in case I want to check what I said when I become senile, if I become senile, if I lose my mind, or I lose whatever flame I have, whatever inspiration I have, to look back and remember. And who knows, perhaps for the next generation. But besides that, yes, I would not say no to writing texts too, because texts provide better structure. They allow for better structure. And you can do it at your leisure. You can also do this at your leisure. You can just my recommendation is always to put my stuff in higher speeds. I always listen to stuff 150% speed or 200%. But it depends on your capabilities in terms of understanding the English vernacular and English vernacular that I'm using. Oh, nice, it's raining. I love the rain. Indeed, I miss. It's one of the things I feel we're not getting in these parts. Anyway, yeah, that is it. I thank my tribe, those who have wronged me. I don't care. Those who are no longer a part of my life, part of our lives, you should not care. They are gone for good reason. They should remain gone. They should shut the fuck up, because their existence is in the past. Okay? That's what they are. They know who they are. They're in the past for good reason. Everything for our tribe, everything for the uncapped tribe, our tribe above all. Glory to Rothbard, glory to Samuel Edward Konkin III, glory to
to all the apostles of our faith, to Gustave de Molinari, to did I say his name right? To Frédéric Bastiat, of course, to various others, apostles that you can see in the Mises Institute.org, Mises.org, that is. You can see most of the literature that is important to us in Mises.org. I get nothing from it, nothing at all. I just do my ANCAP duty. My Substack, in case you're interested, is LFRD, the letters, LFRD, .substack. Again, LFRD, these letters, .substack. You can get the stuff that is there. Some stuff is behind paywall, or partially behind paywall. And usually I don't make it. Let's just say that for strangers there is a price to pay, but some people that I somewhat know, that I somewhat feel that they are in this tribe, I give them free access. And in case you are one of the people in the know, one of the people I know, that is, even online from places I've mentioned, you can send me a message and comment here, or you can comment on Substack, who the fuck knows. There is a Telegram, which I will not share here because it is because here there is a chance that certain people are watching that I don't want them to watch, and certain people from the past whom I'd like them to keep their distance. That's all. And certain people in the future, I mean, you know, the glowies, you know, the ones I'm talking about, that I don't want them to have access to the Telegram, but you can always leave a comment, and I will curate the responses and what will happen. I want to thank you all for this great opportunity you've given me to talk here. You haven't given me any opportunity, most just allowed me to touch your ears, so to speak. And that is it. I will no longer waste time talking about certain stuff. That is it. God bless you all, and goodbye.